Okay, good afternoon, dear English A1 students. My name is Daniel Fernando Perez Niño, and today we're gonna have a look at the simple present. Okay, welcome, dear English students. So, it's my honor to welcome you to the amazing and beautiful world of English. So, today we are going to have a look at the simple present. This is the explanation for today's video lesson. And the purpose of this video lesson is to explain the simple present structure and its main use, which is expressing daily routines, the actions that we usually do from Monday to Saturday. So let's get started. Okay, so let's begin with the simple present, but before that, we're going to have a look at what the main purpose of this lesson. So the main purpose, the main action that I want to get from this lesson, it's to introduce the simple present and practicing the simple present in English, of course. Also, the students will be able to participate, to learn and participate actively in this video lesson. This is the purpose. The purpose is learning the simple present and of course practicing in a very different way. So that's my idea. That's the purpose that I want to get from this video lesson. Okay, so let's begin with the simple present. The simple present, my friends, has three main uses. The use number one, the most important use. Number one, repeated actions that happens again and again. For example, I take the train to the office. So that means that you every day, if you want to get to the office, you have to take the train. So I take the train to the office. Subject, verb, and complement. Okay, second example. The train to Berlin leaves every hour. So the train to Berlin means that every single hour the train goes to Berlin. It happens every single hour. And then John sleeps 8 hours every night during the week. So that means that John sleeps 8 hours every single week. Repeated actions, use number one. Use number two, for real or scientific facts. For example, a real fact, the President of the USA lives in the White House. France, it's a country of Europe. Well, that's a real fact. A dog has 4 legs. Well, it's scientifically proved that a dog has 4 legs, generally. Water boils at 100 degrees, so water evaporates once it gets the 100 degrees. That's a scientific fact. And the earth, la tierra, the earth moves around the sun. So that's a scientific fact too. So my friends, as you can see, the structure is very simple. The President of the USA is the subject, lives is the verb or the action, and in the White House it's the complement. So as you can see too, France, it's a country of Europe. France, subject is the verb, and a country of Europe is the complement. And let's have a look at another more example. So water boils at 100 degrees. Water is the subject, boils is the action, and at 100 degrees it's the complement. And the most important use of English, or in this case, simple present, of course, in English. So for expressing habits or daily routines, the actions that I usually do in a normal day. For example, I get up early every day. I wake up at 7 a.m. Carol brushes her teeth twice a day, 2 veces al día. They get to work at 9 a.m. So those are some of the actions that you usually do in a normal day. And let's have a look at the structure. I, Carol, and they, subject, get up, wake up, brushes, and get, the action, the verb. Early every day, wake up at 7 a.m., her teeth twice a day, and work at 9 a.m. are the complements. So the simple present is used for a subject, a verb, and a complement. In affirmations, affirmative, positive sentences. Okay, my friends, now what we are going to have a look at the simple present structure, but the simple present structure using the negative and the interrogative, how to make questions and how to say no in English in simple present. Okay, so for the simple present, you have to take into account 2 auxiliaries. 2 auxiliaries to say no. The auxiliary don't, which is equal to do not, and the word or the auxiliary doesn't, which is the same as saying does not. Let's say, so the auxiliaries are the words that express negations. For example, I like meat. If I want to say no me gusta la carne, I have to say I don't like meat or I do not like meat. She doesn't like meat. A ella no le gusta. She doesn't like meat or she likes meat. So let's have a look at one at a time. So we use don't. Let's begin with don't. We use don't when the subject is I, you, we, or they. And we add the auxiliary don't between the subject and the verb. For example, I speak English, affirmation. I don't speak English. That's the negation. I don't speak English. So in the middle of the subject and the main action. You speak Spanish. You don't speak Spanish. We speak French. We don't speak French. They speak Arabic. They don't speak Arabic. So that's the main use of the auxiliary don't for I, you, we, or they when we are talking about those subjects. Okay, the auxiliary doesn't. The auxiliary doesn't works similarly, in a very similar way, but remember that we use doesn't when the main subjects are he, she, and it. For example, he speaks Spanish, he doesn't speak Spanish. She speaks Italian, she doesn't speak Italian. Let's say, for example, Philippe needs a dictionary. What's the negative of this? Well, Philippe doesn't need a dictionary. So no necesita, doesn't need a dictionary. The dog wants a bone. El perro quiere un hueso. The dog doesn't want a bone. So that's the negation for saying that the dog doesn't want a bone. No quiere un hueso. Okay, so now let's have a look at the simple present but interrogative. Remember, people, all these examples and all these explanations are a review of the topics that we have seen previously in our class. For expressing questions, preguntas, questions in simple present, you have to take into account two auxiliaries, the auxiliary do and the auxiliary does. Let's say, for example, an affirmative sentence. You speak English. That's something real, that's something true. You speak English. If I want to ask you if you speak English, it would be, do you speak English? Okay, the answer, yes I do, no I don't. Do you like ice cream? So if an affirmation is, you like ice cream, do you like ice cream? You work at the university. Do you work at the university? We like pizza. Do we like pizza? Okay, so that's for the case of do. The auxiliary does. Let's say, for instance, the affirmation. He speaks French. That's yes, that he speaks French. That's an affirmation. But what about the question? The question, it would be, does he speak French? Or she works in Colombia. Does she works in Colombia? The dog wants a bone. Does the dog want a bone? Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. So the auxiliary does, it's for subjects such as he, she, or it in this case. That's the main difference between the auxiliary does and the auxiliary do. Okay, so it was pretty much the explanation of the structure, the simple present structure in affirmative, negative, and interrogative. Okay, let's have a look at simple present but in daily routine. What's your daily normal routine? Your routine is your normal everyday activities, the activities that you usually do in a normal day, the actions that you perform on a normal day at work or at home or at the weekend. We have to remember that the everyday activities are the actions that we do normally. For example, wake up, despertar, have breakfast, desayunar, catch, agarrar, start, iniciar, have lunch, almorzar, finish university, terminar la universidad. So, for example, I wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning. I have breakfast at 7:30. I catch the bus to university at 8 o'clock in the morning. I start study at 8:30. I have lunch at noon, at midday. and I finish university at 4:15 in the afternoon. So those are the actions that we usually do. I go to the cinema in the evening. I have dinner at 7 at night. I brush my teeth before 11 o'clock at night, and I go to bed at midnight. So my friends, as you can see, there is also the same structure: subject, verb, which are the ones in white. So those are the daily routines action, and of course the complement, the ones in black. So this is one of the most important uses of simple present, to express daily routines. Okay, right now what we are gonna do, we're gonna play a game which is called Jeopardy. The idea of Jeopardy is evaluate how good you are taking into account the simple present structure. So we're gonna say play now right here. So as you can see, how many teams? In this case only one, because only me. I don't want to play it in a buzzer form. I'm gonna choose the potato, and let's start game. So right here you have simple present, affirmative, negative, interrogative, everyday activities, daily routines, frequent actions. We have to say if the sentences right here are correct or incorrect. Let's choose affirmative for 500. I love pepperoni pizza at night. Is it correct? Let's say that it's incorrect. Okay, so in this case, it's incorrect. The correct form is I love, not I loves. For I have to use I love pepperoni pizza at night. Let's say simple present negative for 500. You, me, and she speaks Japanese. No, it's incorrect, my friends. You, me, and she speak Japanese. Why? Because it's they, ellos, they, you, me, and she. That means, or in this case, me, because it's included, and myself included. So in that case, it would be we. We speak Japanese, you, me, and she. Interrogative. Let's say for example. Does Joe and Sally see television every night? Correct or incorrect? Let's see the answer. It's incorrect because you have to say do Joe and Sally, because they watch television every night? Yes, they do. No, they don't. And finally, we're gonna see one more action. We're gonna see one more column right here. We're gonna choose daily routines for 400. I go to primary school every week. Correct or incorrect? Is it incorrect? No, it's correct. It's correct. I go to primary school every week. Yes, I, because it's the subject I, go to primary school every day. Okay, let's come back one here. Let's continue. So this is the game that you can, of course, play at home. And the idea is playing, the idea is practicing and test yourself if you understand, if you got the topic, or if you have to work on the simple present structure a bit more. Okay, so let's come back once again to our presentation. We're going to see two important conclusions. Conclusion 1. The simple present affirmations are formed by 3 words: subject, verbs, and complement in affirmative. We have to have the auxiliaries, so we have to use the auxiliaries don't and doesn't if we are saying negations in simple present. And finally, the auxiliaries do and does are used for interrogations, for asking questions in simple present. Now, the main function of simple present is expressing daily routines. That's the main function of simple present, expressing the actions that we usually do every day. Okay, people, so right here you can find the reference. So that's pretty much the authors that I took into account in order to do this beautiful presentation. And okay, people, so I have to say thank you so much for joining this session, this video lesson. I hope you have learned a lot. And remember, if you have any question, if you have any doubt regarding the simple present structure or the simple present for using daily routines, don't hesitate on asking me. Guys, thank you so much and have a nice day. Bye bye.